Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and now we have our regular technician handling the programming, and Mr. Steve Gauthier lives in Eunice, Louisiana, by way of I'm not too sure, and that's okay. We'll get on to maybe a couple of pictures.
He's even got his able assistant, Matt Guitreau.
Yes, sir. Backing, and Matt LeBlanc is headed to Delta Media over in Karen Crow, Louisiana, to meet up with the group over there.
You eat rabbit? Because this weekend is the 10th annual St. Hubert's Benevolent Society Rabbit Cook-Off. It's this Saturday, March 16th at Willis Campground. The cooking begins at 8 a.m. They're going to judge at 3 p.m. You have to register at the site. First through fifth places, you can win hunting items, weapons, opticals, that's, you know, all the scopes and binoculars. Entry fee is $50. They want a traditional brown gravy using only vegetables, tasso, and sausage.
Do you know
no rice.
the benefactor will be?
The benefactor is usually part of the doctor, because it's the rabbit, not the squirrel. It's going to be Dr. John Ferrazana Scholarship Program. There also will be a live auction at 3 p.m. at all benefits helping the Cops and Kids program for Sheriff Bobby J. Guidreau. There'll be a BB gun contest in Kids Corner sponsored by Dupree Carrier Gottschall Insurance Agency. Live music, food and beverages for sale. Go by, tell Mr. Willie we said hi.
Yes,
or the Mr. Willie family. We said hi.
Yep. Let's get a couple of pictures here. We are right on schedule for our. We don't need any sponsors this.
Oh, we're in good shape.
We're in good shape.
Well, you want to go photos? Let's go.
Yes, photos.
I'm in a hurry. One.
Okay.
Show our photo there, Steve.
Show our photo, Steve.
Oh, other photo.
Other photo.
You got us? You getting us?
No.
Should we come back? Or we'll come back to it. While you're working on it,
okay.
We'll come back.
We'll come back.
How about this? Opelous's Little Theater has got the Miracle Worker starting this week. If you want to go by right here next to the Donald Gardner Stadium, it's all about Helen Keller, the Miracle Worker, with her and her teacher Annie Sullivan. The 14th, 15th, and 16th at 7 p.m. Next week, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And on Sundays at 2 p.m. You can buy tickets ahead of time at Sebastian Dupre Fine Jewelry. You ready now, Steve? Let's go. Photos.
Well,
are you ready? Got something else?
Okay, go ahead. We got it up there.
We got it. I'm in a hurry.
I'm in a hurry, which is one of the syndicates I'm in running. I'm in racing, part of, and we had another winner over in New Orleans at the fairgrounds, right?
Correct. That's the fairgrounds.
And it was kind of a feature race because the presentation of a plaque. Yeah, there you go, right up there, right way up on the right-hand upper corner there. And we want to thank Mr. Joe Rink, who heads up the I'm in Running syndicate, and of course our good trainer, Carl DeVille from Port Barry, by way of Little Tesh now, where he and his lovely family, Angie, and the kids live on Little Tesh, and that's where he has his racing stable.
And our next photo?
Our next photo, this is something, you see that smile right there? Well, I met Murphy Tyler. I met him that morning at Barney's. I was dropping off some clothes and picking up some clothes, I might add. And he greeted me at the door, and we spoke a few words. And I had seen Murphy before, but had never really talked to him. But about noon, I went by King's Truck Stop to get a Subway sandwich. And lo and behold, who greets me right when I was getting into the building? Murphy Tyler. I said, I have to have a picture of it. He said, Mr. Bobby, why you want a picture of me? I said, well, that smile, I said, I'll guarantee you, if I talk to your wife, she'd say you smile like that even all night long. It's just beautiful smile. I said, what do you do for a living? He said, well, I just started Lazarus Driving Academy.
Very good.
And he's
so if you need a CDL
training, and that's a big job. The availability of a CDL driver today with a good record and a good background can pass the drug test and all those kind of tests that you have to pass. Get in touch with Lazarus Driving Academy, or just call for Murphy Tyler Sr.
948-4263.
And a real, I'm telling you, he'll do you a good job. And he told me he's got a few students going right now, but he could use a few more. And on Friday night, I was invited to the, I guess, the semi-annual supper that's held over at Mr. Robert Nellum's in Church Point, Louisiana. Easy to find him. He's got the big, beautiful lighthouse. Right, it's right in the back.
There's the lighthouse.
There's the lighthouse.
And there's the man himself.
And there's the man himself. You could see the wind was blowing, and it got kind of cool. I went and get my jacket, put on my little light jacket, but he was working next to the hot pots there. Delicious gumbo, and then they had fried alligator and fried frog legs. I mean, we had a feast, and met a longtime friend,
Cool.
Cecil Brown with the cowboy hat, and he's a cowboy all his life. From Eunice. Well, he's actually east of Eunice, there in the big curve, I call it. And of course, Joe Carrier, a retired state trooper, who last time I asked him what he was doing, he was working at one of the casinos as a security, watching over all, you know how they have a tower where they...
The eye in the sky.
Eye in the sky, watching for anything that occurs in there. And here's Barry Swallow with our district attorney. By the way, Earl was not there. That's unusual. And also Lee Wembley from Church Point, Louisiana, young attorney there, and Chester Wembley's brother, and the family. And our state senator from the Opelousas area, Elbert Lee Guillory, and he was decked out with his camouflage, and this is the time of the year to wear it, Senator. And Saturday morning, I had breakfast at the Palace Cafe with Raymond Simian. Joe couldn't be there. Harvey couldn't be there. So I said, what are you doing in the next couple of hours? He says, well, not really anything, Bobby. I said, well, let's go take a ride. I said, I'd like to show you where I was born. And before we got there, I said, let's go down through Freelo Cove. I haven't been there in a long time, and one of the pictures I took, that was probably the first picture I took, and it's a shame I didn't know how to zoom it in, but I learned. I'll show you the young lady who taught me how to zoom in.
I can
and
see the barn.
There's a barn back there,
there.
and they're making an addition on it, and of course it belonged to Billy Freelo and his family, and of course Billy would have been at this supper that I showed on Friday night at Robert Nellum. The last picture probably taken out in the open was the picture I had taken of Billy at the last event they had.
Right.
And from there, we rode and rode and rode, and we got, and I told Raymond, I said, I think we in Bel Air Cove, but I said, oh, there's a lady, let's stop and ask her. So I asked the lady in the pink jacket. I said, I'm not lost, but I'm not sure where I am. I said, and before I could say anything else, she said, Bobby, you don't know where you're at? I said, no, ma'am, I sure don't. Well, she said, you're not far from where you were born. I said, well, I know that too. But I said, I kept going down this road. I said, am I in Bel Air Cove? She said, you're right. You're in Bel Air Cove. And the young lady in the back of her is Wilda. And what they were doing, they were standing on the side of the road. They were moving cattle from in the back of where you see them right there to field across the road. And the way I found that out is Wilda had a red flag in her boot. I said, what's the red flag for? I mean, that's kind of a new style. She said, oh no, we're flagging the traffic down when the cattle come through. So had a beautiful, thank you, Miss Rose Swallow.
A cattle drive in Bel Air Cove.
And Wilda, by the way, is the person who showed me how to zoom in. And this was Mr. Anderson Darbone's little store in Freelo Cove, pretty much right after you get in. It's across the street from St. Anne Catholic Church. And
there's St. Anne.
There's St. Anne, the sign. And there's beautiful, I mean, I don't know who takes care of the grounds, but they are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I want to put up a statue in honor of Mama and my grandma over at Immaculate Conception Church. We've been talking about it with several of the ladies with the Washington Garden Club, and I think this would be real. It would sit real nice.
The church is the Immaculate Conception, a statue of the Immaculate Conception.
Right, and bricklayer, my mason man, Mr. Don Campbell's already offered to do the mason work for me.
If you got a name Campbell and it got a brick involved, they know what they're doing.
That's right. That is correct.
For sure.
And now I'm getting to the old home site. I don't think we had addresses back then.
That's
in
not
fact,
the mailbox y'all had when you were a kid?
No, we got our mail on 103 or 104 at Mr. Wilmer Freelow's.
Couldn't even get the mail where you were.
Oh no, we were
far back.
We were back in the woods, but right there where that home, beautiful brick home is, and that's one of the young Lonklo. His father is a brick mason, and he's a brick mason, and I guess his kids will be brick masons. It's a tradition, and that's in Plaisance, Louisiana.
Your house wasn't quite that big.
Well, no, and it was a little frame shack.
Right.
But that's all right. We came along all right. And this is a beautiful home.
Wow.
Mulberry, I think, is the name of that road, right near the monastery. The people that built this, the family that built this, is two sisters and a brother, went to California and apparently did well. And they came back to be where their ancestors, where they came from.
Back home.
Back home. And I had to take a picture of it. It's beautiful. And then when we got to the monastery, the first person I meet is
Abbot James.
Abbot James, and he recognized me right off. And that's the chapel right there. And a lot of people are attending, especially since they've closed the Plaisance Catholic Church.
Right.
St. Anne's, I think, was the name of that church.
Sure. It's a beautiful little place, and there's their hall that they built, St. Bernardo Hall, who was just made a saint in the last 2 to 3 years.
And that's the inside, and I had donated the material, and Jane Dupre had done all of the work. And Jane, you did a beautiful on the drapes.
Right.
And they all lined and everything, ought to be there a long time.
And Miss Betty Quirk.
Miss Betty Quirk, Nutzy Quirk's wife, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. She's very active. What's oblate?
An oblate.
Oblate.
An oblate is a person who's a layman, who isn't a priest or brother, that just decides to live their life along a lot of the same rules that the monks do. Just, pray at the same times, try to keep up the same high quality of living that the monks do. So you become an oblate if you say, I'm going to live my regular life, but I'm going to pray in the manner that the monks do.
Because I think this group that was
almost all of them will be oblates. They all give time
and they meet periodically at the church and have a day of, I guess,
of prayer. And,
yeah. Okay.
And that's a banner of St. Bernardin there.
And tell them the story
about it. That actually is the banner that hung at the Vatican when they made him a saint about 2 or 3 years ago. They hang those huge banners of each saint all around in St. Peter's Square. And this is one of them. And of course, Abbot James was invited, being one of the abbots for one of their monasteries, was invited to Rome. And they gave him the banner to bring back to right there to Plaisance, Louisiana.
No, it's in Plaisance, Louisiana.
Can you imagine?
A lot of good people come out of Plaisance. I'm kind of talking
That's
here.
right.
Then we went to the long-standing Texas Eastern Transmission, a big taxpayer in St. Landry Parish. Has given some jobs to a lot of young people. Riley Fontenot worked there when he was in college. Rampsbauer worked there in the summer times to pay their way through college, help pay their way through college. Mom and Daddy was helping, but some of the help had to be on their own. And then the next picture would be, I took that through the fence, and that's the facility, huge. Most of you have no idea that this big plant, transmission plant, exists right there. And I kind of call that Plaisance too, but I'm not sure what they call it.
And in this old house.
This old house here is where Raymond and Joe Simeon were born, right there. So we got a good taste of where we're from, and we did stop. Before this, we stopped at to talk to a young person that was standing on the side of the road, and we asked him where Melton James used to live, and he said, well, right here is where Melton James. I knew him. He was a school bus driver. He was into a little bit of everything. In time, we're going to come back to the Melton James story in just a minute.
We'll see y'all in 1 minute.